Blast me to the mortal realms! It's time for the Mad Merlins review of Warhammer Age of Sigmar Stormbringer by Hachette Partworks and Games Workshop, Issue 8. Hello everyone and welcome back to another Warhammer Age of Sigmar Stormbringer issue review. So, here we have issue 8, and it's the rather imposing Lord Imperitent and his faithful little doggy, the Gryph-hound. We also get a STC medium base brush, which will be perfect for adding all those base layers to our models. So, before we get into anything, don't forget to, of course, like this video if you are enjoying the content. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and tickle that little bell icon so you keep up to date with all my mad content. And of course, don't forget to check my links in the description down below, and why not drop a comment down below as well. I love hearing back from everybody and it helps push this channel's noticing out there. Moving on then, we have a brand new issue of Stormbringer. And we have the rather beautiful Lord Imperitent there. I'm not too sure why he has a Gryph-hound, seeing as he is wearing a Gryph-hound. I don't think that Gryph-hound would be too keen to stay near him for very long. Might be turned into a new cloak. But yeah, we have a guide to undercoating, we have new movement rules, and yeah, we build and paint our new model. So let's go vertical and we'll take a look inside this issue. Let's open up issue 8 then. There we have it. So we have our lovely model. We'll take a closer look at that in a bit. Oh, his head, or his spare head at least, has already come off the frame. That's very helpful. Okay. We also get a 40mm base for the Lord Imperitent, and the poor little Gryph-hound's been demoted to a 32mm base. Poor little guy, he used to be on 40mm. But we have a medium base brush from the STC range, and feels nice. Not exactly the same as a good actual hairbrush, but I'll give it a try. I got a few projects that can be made useful for that. So we'll take a look at this first, but I think we'll zoom in and we'll take a look at the frame for the Lord Imperitent. Here we are then, up close and personal with our Lord Imperitent. And there's his alternate head, which is the helmeted head. Or masked head, should I say. It's not really a helmet, it's more of a mask. But looks pretty cool. Has a nice beard motif. And we of course have the frame itself. So we have the beautiful bear head there with his glorious beard and hair. Don't know why I'm saying glorious all the time for. We also have his base detailing here, so much like the Knight Arcanum, bit of ruined masonry. We have the main part of his torso there, we've got his cloak, back part of the torso. We've got the Gryph-hound there, plus the Gryph-hound's base detailing. Then we got the top of his cloak and his headdress there, his staff, and the war mace as well. And finally his little hip skirt there as well. So yeah, really cool model. There's the underside. Not a lot of detail this side, just the inside lining on the cloak. The abs detail on the armour, which is kind of weird. And we can see the other sides of the headdress and the weapons there. So they're pretty much identical. Still rather cool as well. Right then, let's take a look through the actual issue. Okay, let's dive into issue 8. So first off, we have our collect article all about the Lord Imperitent and his Gryph-hound. building him, we learn about undercoating technique, we paint the Gryph-hound and Lord Imperitent, we have more movement rules, and we have a brand new mission. So here we have the Lord Imperitent. Bravery and swordsmanship wins battles, strategy and tactics wins war. So Lord Imperitents are the supreme strategists of the Stormcast Eternals. Their role is to command forces on a truly vast scale, directing armies of Stormcast Eternals across sprawling territories. They do this from the heart of battle itself, directing nearby troops with thunderous commands. We have, as usual, a characteristic trait, so we can roll and then tick off which one he has. We have a table for our Gryph-hound traits, and then we can write down the name and the Gryph-hound's name here. So we use the background table from previous issue to write his name. We've got an example here: Helio, Quickwit, and Bolt the Gryph-hound. So yeah, pretty nice model. It does look really good. Can't wait to get this guy built and painted. Speaking of building, we have our building guide for him. So we got the kneecap, back of the cloak, and his back half of torso going in first. Then we add in these two arms, so the Blessed Warhammer and the Stormcaller baton. Then we add his head, so you can use whichever head you fancy. So far all my models are having bear heads, so I'm going to go for the bear head option. Then we push on the front of the torso, push his headdress in place and the front of his skirt, push the base detail down, push him to the base, add the reeds, and there he is finished. For the Gryph-hound, he's only 3 components, so the 2 halves of the body and the base detailing. So push it, line up, push together, and then push down to the actual base itself. So we have a brand new painting tutorial. This time we're learning all about undercoating, so we get to know our brand new brush. So the 5 important things that make up a brush are the bristles. This, of course, is where the paint is collected and applied to models. The handle, where you hold it, much like a pencil, so sort of like the 3-finger pinch. The very tip of the bristles, the very fine point at the end of the brush. The sides of the bristles, which are often used for edge highlighting with smaller brushes. And then we then have the ferrule, which is what holds all the bristles to the handle. So yeah, here we have the holding your brush method, so much like holding like a pen with a 3-finger grip, or thumb and 2 fingers, so I say. And then we have a little tutorial on base brushing. So we do get a large base brush later on, so this will be ideal for painting your terrain. This small brush, medium brush, is perfect for our models that we're getting so far. So we have a refresher course here on thinning your paints. So take the paint from the pot on the tip of your brush, apply it to your palette, wash your brush, collect a small bit of water on your brush and mix it into the paint on the palette. Wash your brush again just so you don't have too much on there. Drying it off, and then make sure you apply it. Too thick, it'll look rather clumpy. Just right though, it'll be a little bit translucent, so a couple of coats will make it more neater. So yeah, just take your time. So we have a tutorial on loading a brush, making sure you don't have too much, otherwise it will clog up the bristles and will cause them to split. This is more common with the hair brushes, but make sure you wash your brushes off quite regularly and you shouldn't be able to go too wrong. We have a good tutorial at the bottom here about how to brace yourself, so putting your wrists together or even having your wrists on the edge of the table. What I like to do is have my elbows on the table, wrists together, and yeah, that just works nicely. And don't forget to support the model with your spare fingers if you need to. I've always found it handy, especially when doing details such as banners and spears that can tend to flick. And then we got a technique about applying your paint, so making sure you get a good all over coverage. Don't use too much, make sure you reach all the underneath areas and be careful of tricky areas. And to do the classic 3 coats to get a good base colour. Moving on then, we are painting our Lord Imperitent, so we need our 5 paints: Retributor Armour, Corax White, Lead Belcher, Calentor Blue and Cataclysm Flesh. We of course need our models, starter brush and the base brush. So we'll use the base brush to put Retributor Armour all over the Lord Imperitent, and then Corax White all over the stones and the Gryph-hound. Then continuing with Corax White, we paint the inside of the cloak, the stone attached to his foot, and his head ready for painting. Starting off with Lead Belcher next, we pick out the chainmail, the top of the stave and the hammer there. Blue, we paint the outside of his cloak and his skirt there. You need a couple of layers over the Retributor Armour though, so you just take your time. Don't forget to get these small bits of cloak around his collar there, and paint the badge icon as well. Then moving on to Cataclysm Flesh, we'll pick out all the leather, so holsters, straps, and the cloak. We also paint the dirt on the base and the reeds, and we paint the Gryph-hound's feathers and tail with Cataclysm Flesh. And there we have our finished models. I'm also picking out the head armour and his little collar with Retributor Armour. And that's our finished models so far. They both look pretty nice. Definitely were looking good for our beginning games. We can't wait to add some future paints in future issues. Moving on then, we have our movement tutorial for the issue, so this continues. This is all about checking your combat range, making normal moves, remaining stationary, running, which is an optional thing you can do in your movement phase. You roll a d6 and add it to your move value. This is how far you run. Of course, this means you can't shoot or charge. You can also retreat, which allows you to fall back your move distance away from a combat. Again, you won't be able to shoot or charge unless you have an ability that lets you do so. You'll learn that in future issues. And you must remain, must be more than 3 inches away from the enemy after the retreat move. So we have the charge phase, which is detailed last issue, and then we have the combat phase, so all about piling in. Right, for the final page for the issue, we have our mission. So take and hold. So we actually place models in some different locations. So the Lord Imperitent and Gryph-hound over here, Hobgrots there, the kill boss already in combat with 5 Vindictors. So gives you a reference here on which rules sheets you'll need. So rule pages 5 through 9. Got profiles for our kill boss and Hobgrots. So all about moving there. We've got the war scroll for our Lord Imperitent and Vindictors. So moving here, charging into combat, etc. Then we have victory or draw for our end game. And next time we have a brand new Orc model, the Swamp Caller Shaman. He looks pretty cool. I love the dark green cloak. And you got a little Potgrot stirring the mixture, and he's already pouring out some evil spell. In issue 10, we get our first of the Underworld's warbands. This is Xandire's Truth Seekers. Squadron of 3 Stormcast Eternals, 1 of a giant hammer, 1 of a bow, and 1 of a sword and lantern, which is Xandire herself. And we also get a little Aether Wing. So there we have it. That was issue 8 of Stormbringer magazine. And pretty good issue, great value. We get the Lord Imperitent, who I believe is, I think he's like £20. If not, he's probably locked exclusively to the larger starter sets. So yeah, we get really good value here. We also get a STC medium base brush, and I think these are about £8 each. So that's pretty much the price of the magazine itself. And we get some good information inside. Not a lot of lore, but we do get a wonderful chalk block paint guide tutorial, which really breaks things down a lot easier than some of the older magazines have done. And we got some more coverage on the movement phase, so we're getting more used to using all the tools we have and all the rules we have as well. But there we have it. I'll leave it there, I think. So all that's left for me to do then is to say thank you all for watching. If you think I deserved it, please give this video a like, especially if you've enjoyed the content. And why not also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and drop a comment down below, as I love hearing back from everybody. So, I will see you next time for another Stormbringer video. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.